My family took the side of my ex-girlfriend, who falsely told everyone that I'd cheated on her. They tried to reconcile with me years later, but I've already got a new life. I, 31, am. Never thought I'd be writing this, but recent events have brought up old wounds that I feel ready to share. This is a long one, so buckle up. We were the perfect couple, according to everyone. My family absolutely adored her, and she spent every holiday with us. I was even planning to propose. It's worth noting that Sarah didn't have much family and had adopted parents growing up, which is why all the holidays ended up being spent with my side. Then everything fell apart. Sarah suddenly started acting distant and weird. A week later, she broke up with me through a text message. Before I could even process what was happening, she'd already told everyone, and I mean everyone, that I had been cheating on her with a coworker for months. This was completely false. I had never cheated on her, and the coworker she named was actually a 55-year-old married woman who mentored new employees. But Sarah's story was convincing. She had evidence, screenshots of texts that were clearly edited, times when I was missing that were actually just me working late, and even cropped photos of me having lunch with my mentor that she made look intimate. The worst part? My family believed her without question. My mom, who I was incredibly close to, wouldn't even let me explain. My sister blocked me on everything. My dad told me he was disappointed in the man I'd become. Extended family members sent me horrible messages. Sarah had spent 3 years cultivating relationships with them, and they chose her version of events over their own son and brother. I tried for months to clear my name, but it was like talking to walls. The more I defended myself, the more they said I was making excuses. It broke me completely. So I made a decision. I accepted a job offer in Seattle. I'm originally from Boston and moved across the country. I blocked everyone except my elderly grandmother, who was the only one who stood by me, and started fresh. The past 7 years have been transformative. I built a successful career in tech, made amazing friends who became my chosen family, met my wonderful wife Rachel through a hiking group, and we now have twin 2-year-old boys. I go to therapy regularly and have worked through a lot of the trauma. Life is good. Here's where the revenge part comes in, though it's more like karma. Last month, Sarah got caught cheating on her new husband with multiple people. Apparently, she'd been doing this for years. The truth came out in spectacular fashion at a family gathering. My grandmother told me all about it. And suddenly everyone realized that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as honest as they thought. The flood of messages started coming. First my sister, then my mom, then everyone else. We're so sorry. We should have listened. We miss you. Please let us meet their grandchildren/nephews. I sent one response to all of them. Thank you for your apologies. I forgive you because holding on to anger isn't healthy. However, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You chose to believe the worst about me without any proof. You threw away 2 decades of knowing my character in favor of someone else's lies. While I've healed and moved on, I'm not interested in rebuilding relationships with people who abandoned me when I needed them most. I have a wonderful family now who knows my true character. I wish you all the best, but my answer is no. The revenge? Living well. Building a beautiful life. And finally being able to say no to the people who discarded me when it was convenient. My grandmother is coming to visit next month. She's the only one who gets to be part of my children's lives, and she couldn't be more thrilled. Sometimes the best revenge is simply moving forward and letting go. Edit. Thank you for all the supportive comments. To those asking, yes, I later found out Sarah had been the one cheating and made up the story about me to deflect attention. Classic projection. But by the time the truth came out, I was already building my new life and had no interest in going back. Edit 2. Some are asking about Rachel's thoughts on all this. She fully supports my decision. She says anyone who could throw away their child or sibling so easily doesn't deserve a second chance with our children. On to the next story. My fiancée wanted to live it up one last time before our wedding. I decided to give her all the freedom she wanted by disappearing completely. I, 31M, was engaged to my now ex-fiancée, 29F, for about a year. We'd been together for 4 years total, and I truly thought she was the one. We were set to get married next month, and everything seemed perfect. Well, almost everything. About 2 weeks ago, Megan, my ex, started talking about how she wanted to have one last girls' night out before the wedding. She said she wanted to celebrate her last days of freedom with her bridesmaids. Something about the way she phrased it didn't sit right with me, but I trusted her completely and didn't want to be that controlling guy who stops his partner from having fun with friends. The night of their celebration came, and I stayed home, working on some wedding planning details. Megan had told me they were just going to have dinner and maybe hit up a few bars for dancing. Nothing crazy, she promised. The next morning, Megan came home looking exhausted but happy. When I asked about her night, she gave me vague answers and said it was just a regular girl's night. I probably would have believed her if it wasn't for what happened next. 2 days later, I received a text from Jenny, one of Megan's bridesmaids. Jenny and I had always gotten along well, and she'd been friends with Megan since college. The message read, "Can we meet for coffee? It's important." I met Jenny at a local cafe, and what she told me turned my world upside down. Apparently, Megan had planned the entire night with the specific intention of having one last fling. Jenny showed me videos from their group chat, which I wasn't supposed to see, where Megan explicitly stated her plans to have some fun before being tied down forever. The worst part, she succeeded. Jenny told me how Megan had been dancing with and kissing multiple guys at the club, eventually leaving with one of them. The other bridesmaids had encouraged her, saying things like, "What happens at the bachelorette party stays at the bachelorette party, and you're not married yet." Only Jenny had objected, which led to a huge argument between them. Megan had told Jenny she was being dramatic and that it's normal to want one last adventure. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, but instead of confronting Megan, I decided to handle things differently. Over the next few days, while Megan was at work, I quietly packed up all my belongings. I withdrew my half of our joint accounts, which was documented in our prenup agreement. I contacted all our wedding vendors and canceled everything, eating the deposits. I wrote a simple note. "I know what happened at your bachelorette party. I hope your last adventure was worth it. Don't try to contact me." I left a note on our kitchen counter, along with her engagement ring, and moved out while she was at work. I blocked her on everything: phone, social media, email. I had already arranged to stay with my brother in another state and had a job transfer lined up. The aftermath was exactly what you'd expect. Megan blew up my brother's phone, the only contact she had, with messages begging me to come back, saying it was a mistake and didn't mean anything. Her family called me every name in the book. Her bridesmaids, except Jenny, posted on social media about how I was overreacting to just a little partying. But here's the thing. I don't regret my decision one bit. If she needed one last adventure before committing to me, then she wasn't ready for commitment at all. The fact that she could so easily betray my trust while her friends cheered her on told me everything I needed to know about her character. It's been 2 weeks now. I'm settled in my new place, starting fresh. Jenny still keeps me updated. Apparently Megan is devastated. But I've moved on. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about knowing your worth and walking away with your dignity intact. Edit. Thank you for all the support. To address some common questions. Yes, I have proof of everything through Jenny's screenshots and videos. And yes, I did consult with a lawyer before taking money from the joint account. Everything was done legally and according to our prenup. Edit 2. For those asking why I didn't confront her, I knew she would try to minimize it, make excuses, or turn it around on me. I wanted a clean break without the drama of a confrontation. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. What did you think of these stories? Let me know your thoughts about them in the comments, and thanks for listening.